You're listening to What She Said on Canada Talks.
I'm Christine Bentley in studio with Kate Wheeler, and we are joined by Paul Rowan, the co-founder of Umbra.
Vice President of Inspiration.
Vice President of Inspiration, no less.
That's going to be tough to live up to.
Talking about this iconic brand and how much you enjoy teaching students or mentoring, really. Or really? Discovering.
Yeah, teaching's way too hard for me. I got to say, mentoring's a lot easier because you can parachute me into a classroom for a lecture, and I can inspire them for an hour or so, and that's pretty cool. But we got some really good, interesting things going on with these design competitions that we do at the schools. Like for example, at Umbra, we actually have the students come over to our studio. We do tours, and we meet them at our store in downtown Toronto, 165 John Street. That's a little plug, by the way.
Okay.
Anyway, so we bring them down there. We lecture them to them there. Then we have a blog that we set up, a private blog, where they can post their designs. And we want to make the design competition similar to them actually being right in our studio, where they're getting a lot of mentorship and collaboration with other designers.
And why is the mentoring aspect important to you?
It's a win-win-win situation for everybody, okay? Like I'm an ambassador to Umbra. I'm still promoting our company. We want to grow. We have good design brand awareness in Canada, but the rest of the world still are important to us, and we don't have the brand awareness that we do have in Canada. We're a little spoiled that way. Canadians really like our brand, so we got to get it out there. We're working on emerging markets. So, I'm lecturing and working on a design competition in Bogota, Colombia, and Medellin, So we're getting our brand out there through these type of mentorships, lecturing, brand building, and so that's one aspect of it. The other is that we get a great look at young emerging talent, because they're going to submit ideas to us. So we say, hey, this person's really remarkable. Let's bring them in as an intern and test them out.
So as a head honcho for Inspiration, way back then, did you have a vision for where you were going to grow it, or were you just having fun, like you seemed to
winging
it and saying, hey, okay, let's design this. What do you think? Less sure. I mean, was it just organically it kind of happened? And because you don't seem like the kind of person who would sit down and have a business plan first.
Well, I talk about this in my mentorship. Like part of the wins that I've had are picking the right partners. And so Les Mattbaum was my business partner, an old friend. He was the right guy to make sure that we stayed on the right path. He had a long-term vision about the business to be financially sustainable. Like I would spend it all. I would do everything. I know maybe I wouldn't have been a sustainable business on my own. We have a long-term vision with sales VPs like Paula Burke. She's been with us for 30 years, and she has a long-term vision about, how to manage customer relationships. And so this is not about a short-term thing where you just sell something and you walk away and good luck selling it. We're completely committed on all our products with almost every customer, I would say, that if we stand behind it, we go in there, we sell it. If it doesn't work, we'll exchange it, we'll build the program with them. It's a long-term vision, and I think that's what's really kept us sustainable for sure.
But Paul, you've seen so many brands. They come, they go, why do you think you guys succeeded? There must be something, some element.
I think we stuck to our original principles. I think our timing was good. I mean, I got to say I've been blessed with a lot of inspiration and creativity from my background and the kind of people I've met. I mean, I'd say networking and the kind of just being here with you today is just on my mission to be totally connected to as many people as possible that are going to inspire me. Our connection with Karim Rashid, who's like a world-famous designer now. He wasn't when we met him, but we developed that Garbo can with him. I think you guys know it, the curvy one with the oval handles in it. I mean, 10 million pieces sold worldwide, launching his career and basically building our business to worldwide phenomenon.
But you've got let me use this, a shift in direction here. You're doing design for designers?
Yeah. Well, you can imagine, you see the numbers, like 120 countries or 30,000 doors we're selling in. There is a tendency that you might get commoditized through that, just the market size of it and the pressure. So we realized that in order to keep our brand at a high level and to maintain it the way it was originally when we first sold independent stores around the world, is to create a line that was strictly for independents. And we've picked 200 stores worldwide, some of the best stores in the world, with really advanced design. And it was a fantastic, I just lectured about it yesterday at George Brown at their marketing program for fashion. it was a very holistic idea. It was a reverse engineered idea, like very strong design brief, graphic design, all done before we ever did any design work, 3D design work. Where we wanted to sell, the competitive landscape, every marketing aspect of what we wanted to do to be fulfilled. And it took about 2 years. We won, when it was launched, we won the International Contemporary Furniture Fair Editors Award for Best Accessories. And we've launched this whole idea. It includes about a 200 square foot shop-in-shop idea. You can see it at the store on John Street. Unbelievably good design. And also a great collection of Canadian designers, international designers, mature designers, emerging designers. So very holistically put together and great success. So I'm very proud of what the guys. Matt Carr is the design director for that project. He did an amazing job.
Yeah, and you're on the design exchange board, right?
I was for about 10 years.
10 years
I did
enough.
get off. I did get off it recently to allow for some new blood there. I still believe in promoting Canadian design through organizations like that. I mean, there's so many things. Last week was Design Week in Toronto. There's the Toronto offsite that I participated in a panel with. I mean, these people, they're tirelessly doing things to promote design in Toronto and in Canada. And there's no money, there's no recognition in it. They just love design.
Okay, so we keep hearing from entertainers. Yeah. We hear it from musicians, actors, that there is no star system in this country. It sounds like it's the same for designers, like that we don't blow our own horns or promote our own people.
It does seem to be continuing. Like I remember when we first started selling. Finally started selling some department stores, like in the U.S. with some recognition. And then, we couldn't sell one department store in Canada until we'd actually sold in the U.S. And then we came back to Canada and said, hey, yeah, we're actually
It's always better if it comes from somewhere else.
Is that still the case?
Yeah, it kind of is. I mean, I don't know. I think there is a kind of conservatism in Canada versus the American kind of entrepreneurship. I think we need to get that. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do by encouraging these creative people I'm working with to have a strong entrepreneurial part to their career. I mean,
were you ever tempted to move your headquarters to the U.S. for that reason?
You know what? We've always loved it here. Our families are here. And everybody knows Canada and Toronto is some of the best places in the world to live today. It's I love, if you look at our design studio, it's so diverse. We have people from all over the world that have come to Toronto to live and to be creative, to have a tolerant environment for, great family life. Everything that's been so great about Toronto. I'm such a supporter of it. And, we would never leave.
You would never leave.
We don't leave. We don't even talk about the money or success or anything like that. We're always talking about how to do great product that's creative and that's brand fulfilling and also something that you personally want to take home to share with your friends and family. We put the designer's name right on the product so that they're vested in it. So it's not about the money, it's about doing an amazing job, and then the success will come.
So a young Canadian designer or a young Canadian design student who wants to be a Canadian designer and wants to do just what Paul does, which is stay in Toronto with his family or her family, what advice would you give them?
Well, first of all, Paul R at Umbra.com if they want to get in touch with me. I mean,
what would you tell them? What advice?
Well, first, there's a methodology to almost every product that we've done that's led to success. I talk about all the different ways we've been successful, and I've touched on a few today. Being connected. I got to say, you're alone in this business. You have to be connected. You have to pick the right partners. You have to be thinking globally about your ideas. Like people came to me in that roundtable last week about exporting Canadian design. Well, what's the design? What do you know about the export business? Like, what do you know about the regional tastes in Japan? Are you designing a product that's going to work internationally? I mean, this requires a lot more research and like a lot more business mindedness.
Did you know the Chinese want good backing on their mirrors?
No, we didn't at first until we found out, right? Because they weren't going to buy them unless we fixed it.
Are there a lot of design jobs in Canada for young people?
Well, it is a concern. That's why I think that it's important. Like at George Brown with Luigi Ferrara, the dean there, we've actually developed a design management postgraduate course. So like you've got to have the creative side, but then like what are you going to do with it? You need to be able to figure out how to be a design manager, how to integrate it into a business idea. And as I said earlier, to graduate people that are just creative, that are service providers, there's no value in it anymore. Like you can go on the internet now and buy a logo for like $100 where, like through a crowdsourcing thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like for a professional to get $5,000 for that branding is very difficult today. So they have to be much more connected to their client. They have to be integrated. They have to be part of the team. They have to be maybe even part of the company to make that thing work for them. So it's a whole different way of thinking about how to make creativity, successful for yourself. That's what I would focus on with young people.
Yeah, but you've loved your ride, though.
Don't get me wrong, we've had some tough times. Like imagine going to a trade show in 2008 and there's nobody in the aisles. It's a big recession hitting. And, I got to tell you, one of the big executives in the U.S. did come to the show, who's one of our retailers there, and he's a friend. And he said, whatever you do during any tough time, don't cut the design department. The design department is your soul. Mm-hmm. Don't cut it. And like a lot of people did cut their creativity. It's like the first area to go in some companies because they don't value it. And then when we came out of that 2008 recession, we were way stronger. We had a great team. We had great products, and we hit the ground running when people were ready to buy again.
So 35 years young. What's happened to your music career?
Well, we're still playing. I got my harmonica here. I'd love to do it.
Well, sing us out again.
Okay.
Paul Rowan.
Am I going out now, girls?
Yeah, you're
You
going
Okay.
are. It has been such a pleasure.
I'd turn you on today, okay? With the harmonica.
Click the channel subscribe button for full-length interviews and more from What She Said here on YouTube.